Welcome to the Escarpment. This is my model railway HO build channel and I'm your host Jason. So today's video, a little bit of an update, but it is going to be mostly focused on the kit bashing that I've been doing, and you can see the model behind me. I've sort of taken an existing grocery type kit from Walthers and turned it into my own customized milk depot. So apologies for any of the background noise. I've got a noisy neighbour with a bunch of cars. He must have a private garage in his backyard. He's just recently moved in. I've also got rain happening at the moment, so hopefully it's not too distracting. Before we touch on the kit bashing that I've been doing, I'm going to take you over and just show you some of the updates that I've done to the terraforming and some of the fascia stuff. You would have remembered in the last video that there was talk about opening up the back of the viaduct seam. I can safely report that I've actually done that, and it was very well worth it. So I think what I'll do is just show you some updates over there. I'll come back, I'll give you some updates in this area, especially level 2, some minor stuff, but just some news and where I'm headed in this area. I think in the last video I spoke about maybe going to cut out and open up the back section of this viaduct area, so it just allows more visual stuff on both sides. So you can see I've gone ahead and done that. You can see there that I've cut that section out that used to come across here. You can see up there I've got to come back and fix some stuff up, but I also took out the framework that was up here as well. Also here you can see in this section here that I've actually done all the painting. I've put the first coat down of the soil, and I've started to sort of go in and rough it up and add a little bit of texture around the rock areas. So there's still some work there to be done. The other thing I've done here too in my travels since the last video, I've gone ahead and designed and printed electrical relay cabinets. Now this is the older type that probably was found, probably still found amongst New South Wales today, but these were the old electrical boxes. I'll take you around the other side because I know on the back end of this I've got a bit of a water drum that catches the water from the roof. I understand that was to help keep the batteries topped up with water when maintenance works needed to be done. I've got my signalling there, although I did have a little bit of a boo-boo, so it sort of fell and I've broken the top piece, so I need to come back and I'll just do a 3D print there to add that top piece back on, paint it up, and that should be back to good as new. It was actually made to be a working semaphore, but sort of decided just where the spot that it's in here and how it's mostly enclosed, and I thought, you know, if something was to go wrong, if I had a real acting one, would be a nightmare trying to get under there and to fix it, take stuff out, whatever the cause may be. So I've just decided to make it a static one. But that's how, or what you would have found back in the 70s and 80s. Actually, I'm not quite sure when it disappeared, but I'm sure people out there would know that. So yeah, put a comment in there, let the rest know if you do know when these infrastructure items disappeared. So you can see from this side how it's been cut out, and it worked quite well, and I really didn't see that bigger picture vision here just due to the fact because I had the rail behind it and I didn't want to show that as part of the scenery. But given how I've done the terraforming, it's sort of opened this up to this possibility, which has worked out quite well. So I can't remember who it was that gave me the idea, but thank you. It was a great idea, and I'm glad that I followed through with it eventually. I guess moving forward with the fascia now is going to be sort of like this. There will be holes cut out as we go along, probably maybe up to this side, or there might be a small one here. It will have the lip up top, but this section here, this will come up a little bit. Then what's going to happen, that'll come around this side, But then this section here, it's going to be all one piece. This will be all blocked in, same dimensions as this side. It'll come up to here. That sort of sizing will be in this area up to this point. There was a question about, well, aren't you going to ballast inside? Now, originally I was only going to ballast up to the end of the portal, probably 5-6 centimeters into the portal. In thinking about it, I may come back and ballast the whole lot. And what I've done is these pieces down here just screw in the top to hold in the foam here. But as you can see, I can take them out, I can remove the foam, and if I need to, I then can come in and just ballast in that tunnel section without too much issue. But it's all been painted, and I've got the first layer topsoil on. That goes all the way down to that end. So as mentioned, come in to the electrical relay, you can see there, I've got the water drum there that catches the water from the roof. I've got the pipes in place. That was all printed in one go. I didn't do that in sections. So another area that I've started to do is to put in my points, the covers that go over the top. For those with a keen eye in the past, you can see that I had these holes because I normally activate my points from the side, not directly underneath. I don't know, I just started doing it that way for no particular reason. But you can see there, I've got those covers. They are glued down, but it's only white glue. So, you know, if there was any maintenance to be done or needed to be done, they're quite easily to pull up. And what I've done extra before I put these covers on, where I've got the wiring coming up through the point arm, I've actually cut it flush, but also dabbed it with a bit of super glue just to make sure it doesn't jump out of that hole and just to limit any maintenance that may be required in the future. This area here, that's not the actual maintenance shed. I've just got it there to be, well, that'll be my next kit bash project. I'm just sort of measuring up what I might like there. It could be something similar to this, but it will be up on either bricks or concrete for another, 10 mil higher than it is now. Well, the loco's perfectly clear it as it is, but yeah, I'll have a look at that. This is where it takes us, the main part of this video. So this is the kit bash, and this is the Owen Milk Depot. You can see here, this was the original kit that I started with. There's been a hell of a lot of work on this. The main thing that I had to do to start with was this kit here. You can see the depth of it. It was just way too big for this area, so I had to cut it down to fit in between my wall and the track here. Now there's lots of added detail. I've actually changed details, so if you look closely at the type of roller doors that I originally had to what I've got now, and you can see the windows have also been covered up. I've got a lot more detail in there. I didn't use the foundation of the kit. If you look closely at the original kit down below here, there was a concrete foundation, and you can see there I didn't use it. I took it out and just used the kit as it was. I did use, the good thing was with that foundation, it was great to start gluing pieces together, but I didn't glue it to the foundation. So once I had the walls and maybe the roof, I sort of took away the bottom piece. I did use some MDF in there just to stop some of the flex. Another major thing that I did, you can see there, got my custom buffers that I've painted up. I haven't weathered them, but they're painted up. And also the milk silos. I actually designed that from scratch and then 3D resin printed them. Up top, I did put some extra detail up there with the platforms. And I guess I took that concept, and you can see here, the original kit just had a flat roof with one or two little things, not really detailed to my liking. So I've added all these walkways, added the railings for, you know, a bit of OH&S, although you couldn't tell down here looking at the hoses. You can see all that detail. So even when I was doing my own roller doors, I came back and opened this N1 up and did a bit of internal work just to sort of show another cylinder in there, store where the milk's stored. You can see right there. I put railings on most things. A major, I guess, change to this kit was, if you looked at the original, you had windows here. That area over here was for trucks to pull up and to load up, but I made it into a facility where the loco would bring the milk tanks in. You can sort of see here, these would come in, they would offload. So what I did was turn this end piece into a loading bay for trucks, and I had to cut out and designed my own roller doors. These windows here I had to take right down to the level where that concrete is, and it's come up quite well to turn it into a, you know, a multi-functional milk depot. That kit, that's kept me busy over the last number of weeks, since pretty much a week after the last video, I believe, and sort of went down some rabbit holes, and, you know, as you go along, new ideas pop up. So you can see a number of details that's been put onto the roof. Everything there is custom made and then 3D printed, except for the smokestack on that top roof there. The top section there that you can see, it's actually been moved forward. I think it sat back a lot more in the original kit, but I decided, yeah, to bring it forward, and enough walkway there as you come out the door. Those gas bottles too, it was a bit of an afterthought with the size. I mean, these are industrial size gas bottles. Be interested in whether they would actually fit through the door, but anyway. Actually, some of the piping here I actually brought from AliExpress as well, that you can see there over on the right hand side. And there was a number of those that came with the kit. The walk areas, the grates, they're metal. So one of the other things I did want to mention, there was a couple of errors along the way. Now, given that the original kit was more of a truck load unload type facility, and then I turned this more into a rail facility, this section here was a lot wider, and what I found once I got it in its place and got it together, brought some locos in, and there was probably one or two of my locos that actually was hitting this awning, and I've sort of looked down and gone, oh shit, yeah, this wasn't meant for locos, it was just trucks. What I had to do is I sort of took off 5-6 mil of it. I sort of cut it back. I put a new fascia on. You can see the original roof supports here. I sort of removed, and then I designed my own and brought them in from underneath. I don't know if you can see that, but there's one of them, and made it more like steel beams, that type of thing. So that was one of the issues I had to overcome. Overall, it's worked out quite well. As I said, there's lots of stuff that I redesigned and gave it more of an Australian theme than an American one. One of the last things there, I've got that Owen's Milk Depot sign. I did just design that all in one piece on CAD, including the lettering, the text, and just 3D printed it. Painted it black, and then came in with a white permanent marker and just ran over the lettering. So it's come up quite well. I'm quite happy with that. The backdrop, I'm mucking around with. I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to do there. I've just got a demo of a backdrop that could be, but I'm not sure whether it's going to be bush or whether it's going to be more outer city type scene. But what's that space? I'm going to experiment a little bit there. I know along this side, on this wall here, there'll be industrial buildings, large sheds up against that wall. And then to hide that corner, I've got a couple trees coming that I might see how much it does cover up that corner, just to just make it a little bit more realistic. But what's that space? We've got the goods shed there. That will also be another scene. You can see I've sort of painted the surrounding areas, but at the back there, it's about a 1.5 mil cork. That'll be for the road coming into this area. Not quite sure what I'm going to do up here. I may have a bunch of trees and bush, so it sort of makes this road look like it's going to go into the background. Might try something with another bridge at the background, but well, yeah, what's that space? Nothing's been decided there. Lots of ideas, but we'll see what flows, because really that's how I sort of operate. I don't, I have a rough plan, especially with these kit bashing stuff. But then as I get started, new ideas come about, and then, sometimes a direction is slightly changed, or there might be major changes, who knows. But this one, it's sort of evolved from the original idea, and just a lot more detail, a lot more infrastructure around it. So there you go. That's the update at the moment. What I've got planned, I've actually got, end of this month, I've got the bounding over the weekend with some other like-minded modelers. So I've got some ideas with some kits that I might start to progress for this maintenance shed over here that I sort of showed in the update. I think my focus will be over the next couple of weeks. I do need to get back to the terraforming, but I think there's still materials I need to order to get that flowing at a nice pace. So what's that space? That's something that's going to be happening over the next month. But I think for now also I want to have a bit of a think about that back scene, what I'm going to do there, where I want to progress that. I've got some stuff on order. Hopefully this week coming it'll turn up, and that will give me a bit more of a hint of where I might take that back scene. So really that's it for now. Again, apologies for the long wait with the video. I've just been so head down, bum up, and this kit bashing that I've done was such a joy. So I look forward to doing more, as well as trying to get that terraforming moving forward again. So until next time, bye for now.